Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new video. For those of you that have been following my Twitter account, I've put up a poll just a few days ago.
Farid, like a summer cool. Wait a moment. Like a summer cool breeze. Yes, please, Farid.
I've been running out of ideas. Not really running out of ideas for content, but I've just been out of the loop recently, and I've been wanting to see what people are interested in, what kind of content you guys are interested in. So I put up three types of videos that came to mind.
First of all, let me just say we care for what you are saying right now. We care. In fact, I will open a GoFundMe page with you and the title We Care.
And I was surprised to find that David Wood wasn't doing too well. It seems like folks are not really that interested in refutations against David Wood. So, as we can see here, proofs of prophethood is the most popular choice. So, inshallah, I will be working on that. However, if you add the second place and third place, preservation of Quran and David Wood refutation videos, you add them up together, you get a higher number, right? And that's why I was like, I cannot let this opportunity pass by, and I need to supply this content to the majority of you guys.
Wow, the unlucky David Wood, eh? He almost got away. Poh. He almost got away, eh? But now, God damn it. David Wood, you almost got away. Okay, Farid, let me tell you something. I haven't seen this video you make right now. Let me describe how I feel, how worried I feel that you will refute somebody, some human being on this earth. Let me tell you how worried I am. Imagine me being a lion or a pit bull, something like that, and you being like this. This is how I see you, my friend.
For those of you who have seen the thumbnail, of course, you know that this video is about shifting goalposts. Again, once again, awesome thumbnail by Solly Lucid. Reach out to him on Twitter, and inshallah, you could, he could be designing your stuff. Anyways, okay, back to the subject of shifting the goalposts. Now, this is something that I've been accused of doing, all right? Or rather, Muslims in general have been accused of shifting the goalposts in regards to the topic of the preservation of the Quran. So, how did this happen exactly? Well, the argument is that Muslims have been hiding the fact that there are multiple qira'at. Okay, so and supposedly during the past couple months we've come clean with this. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Really? Really? Okay, let's see some examples.
Muslims are always happy and proud of the fact that their book is the only preserved book of the scriptures of God. That this book, the Qur'an, is not like the Old Testament or the New Testament. It is not like the Gitas of the Hindus or the Puranas of the other religions. This is a book that we know for a fact that has been preserved for the last 14 centuries, ever since its revelation. All future Qur'ans, even up to our times, conform letter for letter, word for word with the Quranic Mus'hafs. It was a drastic measure, but it was a necessary measure. And it is due to Uthman, it is due to the efforts of Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved the Qur'an. To this day, there is no different version of the Qur'an. There is but one Qur'an. And this gives us some examples of the earliest mushafs that were written, and they are available to this day. Anybody who wants to compare letter for letter and word for word, they can do so. The Qur'an indeed has been preserved from the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So the Caliph Uthman
standardized the copies of the Quran, and therefore from his time up until our time there has never been two copies of the Quran that are different even in one letter or one word.
One semester later, graduation day. Several months later.
And they're going to just, you know, the famous story of the emperor with no clothes. They're going to just point out, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's not true, and this and that. And they'll bring issues, which I'm not going to mention explicitly, that you know are true because they're in your own books. They're not inventing anything new. And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say. The standard narrative does not answer some very pressing questions. You know, these are now well known within the Western Academy that they're bringing forth issues. Their level of now knowledge is leaps and bounds above what it used to be, you know, 100 years ago. You know, and by and large, our ulama in the Eastern world are not aware, by and large, of what's going on in the Western side of things, and they're not answering those questions in a manner that it needs to be answered. And this is something all of us that are in academia fully acknowledge. This issue of ahruf and qira'at has troubled the ummah from the very beginning of times, nothing new. Issues of the relationship, of the origins, of the ikhtilaf and all of this should only be discussed amongst those who are familiar with this science. It takes a while. I can't answer this question in a 20-minute interview, nor is it wise to do so, which is why I never brought this topic up myself. You will not find one lecture of mine about this issue. It should never be brought up in public. And I don't like these idiots, and they are idiots, wallahi. This is not something you discuss amongst the masses, ya akhi. It's not wise. You don't understand qira'at, let it be. It's wise. That's why I never did it. It's the Western academics. These problems are now becoming mainstream. Twitter has so many accounts of Quran experts, and they're non-Muslims, and they're just saying things.
Let me ask you one question to try and make this as specific as possible. I think if I were to give you a blank mushaf, yeah, and tell you to write what is munazzal verbatim from Allah into that mushaf with no human interference, would you write something which corresponds?
It's not an easy answer. It's not an easy yes or no. It is enough for the Muslim to believe that the
I think
Quran
this should be an easy yes or no, though.
Gucci. Farid? You didn't hide it, You didn't hide that. No, Gucci. You were transparent, Let's see the transparency.
The prophets fought, but by the time you get to the war, they were killed. That is a huge attention.
Your faces, Muslim people, your face from here. Come.
Wow, I'm so touched with your transparency, Farid. I'm so touched that I will make a donation, yes, to a charity of my own choosing. I will choose a charity. In fact, I'm so inspired by your transparency that I will join a humanitarian organization. I will join UNICEF to try to give back to the world a little bit of the blessing we received from you. Okay, it's overwhelming. So I need to give back to the world from the blessing of your transparency. Ella, Farid, go on, please.
And the reason is because Muslims have been teaching about qira'at, have been printing books about qira'at, have been getting this to the masses for 1,000 years. So if you're ignorant about qira'at, then that's your fault. It's not the fault of the ulama. It's not the fault of publishers. Once again, publishers are printing this stuff for students of knowledge, for lay people. Everyone has access to this stuff.
Every single student of knowledge knows, who studies ulum al-Quran, that the most difficult topics are ahruf and qira'at. and the concept of ahruf and the reality of ahruf and the relationship of the Uthmanic Mus'haf with the ahruf and the preservation of the ahruf. Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it 7? And the relationship of the qira'at to the ahruf. This is a topic that when you're the beginning student of knowledge, you're like, what is all of this going on here? When you go a little bit more, you learn to simply memorize what your teachers say and regurgitate it out. And you don't fully comprehend. When you do a deep dive is when things get very, very awkward and difficult. And this isn't new. This is from the time of the Sahaba. And this is not a joke, brothers and sisters. The issue of ahruf and qira'at caused confusion to somebody whom the Prophet ﷺ said, if you want to listen to the Quran directly, listen to Ubay.
In previous videos, I've shown examples of different qira'at from Sahih al-Bukhari. So if you have a copy of Sahih al-Bukhari at home, you have access to different qira'at.
Yeah, but as Yasir Qadhi said, those issues is better not to be discussed in the public, and those issues confuse even the best of your scholars. And when they see the issue, they are not so confident, they don't conclude, woohoo, everything is fine. They lose their faith. They have a faith crisis. Okay, so you misrepresent a little bit what's going on. Farid, you scientist, you misrepresent what's going on. First of all, you are not transparent. Let's see your transparency when you educate the public.
But take a look what comes next. June 10th. There is the video on advice on the death of a loved one. So from June 8th to June 10th, something is missing. Where is the June 8th video featuring Qadhi in hijab on the hole in the narrative interview? It's no longer there. As of August 2nd, it is no longer there. They have completely excised it. Well, let's go over to Muhammad Hijab's site. Now remember, Muhammad Hijab did have the video on his site as well, but he just took out the last 26 minutes about a week after it was put up, after June 8th. About a week later, he then took out the last damaging 26 minutes, and so it was only an hour and 14 minutes long. But
if you are so transparent and you don't hide anything, why Muhammad Hijab erased the last 20 minutes of his video with Yasir Qadhi, the minutes they talk about the Qirats? Why did he erase it? I thought you were transparent with the general public. Yet you erase the videos.
take a look at today. Now, this is August 2nd. We're 2 months later. And let's look and see what we see here. Well, there is the June 5th video with Ben Shapiro. It's been there since June 5th. But what follows it? Here's the June 14th video with Ustad Abdul Rahman Hassan. From June 5th to June 14th, something has been taken out. Where is the June 8th video featuring Qadhi and Hijab on the Hole in the Narrative interview? Not only has Yasir Qadhi taken it out of his site, his YouTube channel, so has Muhammad Hijab. They have both completely shut down that video. It is no longer on either of their sites as of August.
Okay, Farid. Okay, you shameless buffoon. Okay, you shameless buffoon. You are not transparent. You erase videos. That's what you do. Okay, shameless buffoon. You have the face to come in front of a camera. You pathetic weakling. You have the face to come in front of a camera and claim you are being transparent. Okay, enough with this travesty. Let's go to David Wood. Let's see what you have to say there.
All right? Or at least examples of different qira'at. يعني subhanallah, so many works, over 1,000 years old, like Tafsir al-Tabari, for example, Tafsir Sa'id bin Mansur, Tafsir Abdul Razzaq, Tafsir ibn Abi Hatim. All these include different qira'at. So to claim that different qira'at is a secret that was just uncovered recently, that's just ridiculous. And if you're going to put that argument forth, then, I mean, you're just going to come out as ignorant.
Yeah, we didn't just humiliate you as far as it can possibly go. you erasing videos, parts referring to the Qirats, your top scholars admitting on camera, you shameless buffoon, your top scholars admitting on camera, you shameless buffoon. We didn't just do that. So go to David Wood. You little sheep. You little sheep. Okay, go to David Wood and test your luck there.
If you've read the introductory works in Quranic sciences, then you are aware of the existence of Qira'at. So here's the thing. Muslims have not shifted the goalposts in this discussion. But I will show you who has been shifting the goalposts. I'm not sure why. Perhaps it's due to frustration because he's not being able to score enough points. But let's together watch this video of David Wood. It's just a short clip and a perfect example of someone shifting the goalposts. Bismillah.
In other words, you are now fully convinced that the Christian faith stands up in every way to any challenges we could make to it intellectually. But there's so many people, and I hope many people listening now that would say that's preposterous. There's tons of things in Christian faith that couldn't possibly be true.
Steve and Dave use eToro to invest in the financial markets.
Perfect
Steve
timing.
does research on global investment opportunities.
Here's kind of the difference. If you take something like Islam and the arguments that are used to support Islam, so the supposed miraculous perfect preservation of the Quran, which is basically the belief that every time someone sits down to copy the Quran, he is miraculously corrected by Allah so that everything he copies is perfect, and it's total nonsense. Their manuscripts are filled with tens of thousands of variants and so on. But it's a claim that Muslims are told, and your average.
What the heck is this? What the heck is this?
That is what that is. That is what that is. You shameless buffoon.
Who is in the news quite a bit right now.
That's
in
right.
fact, he lives in my state, in the United States, in Pennsylvania. He says the Quran's text is entirely reliable. It has not been altered, edited, or tampered with since it was revealed. All Muslims know only one Quran, perfectly preserved in its original words since the Prophet's death, when revelation ended. Now that's quite a statement to stay right there.
And Muslims will take this and run to the bank with it.
Absolutely. And I don't know of any Muslim that wouldn't disagree with that, except possibly your liberal Muslims.
That's right.
But he's not the only one. Let's look at the next slide. Suzanne Hanif, she is a convert. She says the Holy Quran is the only divinely revealed scripture in the history of mankind, which has been preserved to the present time in its exact original form. Yusuf Ali. Now, Abdullah Yusuf Ali.
The famous translator.
He's the famous translator from Pakistan. He did his translation in 1935. Look and see what he says. So well has it been preserved, that's the Quran, both in memory and in writing, that the Arabic text we have today is identical to the text as it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Not even a single letter has yielded to corruption during the passage of the centuries.
Right there, this statement by Abdullah Yusuf Ali has killed the Quran already.
Got another one. Let's look at Maulvi Muhammad Ali. This is the Ahmadiyya community. This is their cleric. This is their sage. And he says this: the Quran is one, and no copy differing in even a diacritical point is met with. Now, explain diacritical mark. What is this? What are they talking about?
Well, basically, it's a Semitic language. You have to put markations and pointings to be able to pronounce the word and even understand the word. Just by virtue of doing this, you can take one word and come up with more than 30 plus meanings.
Yeah.
And he's saying,
depending on where the dots are above and below the line.
And the markations and
We're
the vowel markings and everything.
When we get to the 31
once again, sadly, statements like this by so-called self-proclaimed scholars is why my Muslim people are not really following the truth.
He goes on and says, there are and always have been contending sects, but the same Quran is in the possession of one and all. A manuscript with the slightest variation in the text is unknown. Ooh, what a statement to make.
You and I.
Okay, Farid. This is what David Wood is referring to. Your statements. So, in order for this kind of stupid statements to be true, yes, you need some kind of miracle. It's not our fault that you make stupid statements. Okay, Farid? Now go take a walk. You see?
Is he going to say a
Your
bit more?
average Muslim on the street believes completely. If you spend all of 5 to 10 minutes actually investigating that claim, you find out that it's false.
Okay, so there are two possibilities. What's it gonna be? Is he that reckless of a liar? That's a claim I'm certain no alim has ever made. I'm certain no layperson has ever made that claim.
Farid, we just have the IQ to understand the implication of what you claim. You just don't have the IQ to understand what you say. When you say not even a dot, a letter has been changed in 1,400 years, every scribe writing must happen a miracle. Every person reciting must happen a miracle. Okay? You claim a miracle, my friend. You are just too dumb to understand your claim.
It's just something that David Wood just made up, shifted the goalposts completely, and scored a point. Copyist errors are normal. That doesn't affect the preservation of the Quran. In the same way, a reciter could make a mistake while reciting the Quran, and naturally the people behind him in the congregation are going to fix his recitation. That's just human nature.
Farid, if you don't claim a miracle, why are you busting our balls for so many years? If you don't claim a miracle. And what you say cannot possibly happen in the real world. Always when somebody recites, there is somebody behind him to correct him. That's utter nonsense. That's utter nonsense, my friend. And we see how bullshit is this claim by watching your manuscripts and by seeing the different Qurans, by seeing Uthman burning Qurans to standardize the text, by seeing Egypt 50 years ago throwing Qurans in the Nile to standardize the text. Because you are very transparent. You throw the Qurans in the Nile because you are transparent with the Qirats. That's why you throw the Qurans in the Nile, eh? And you burn Qurans. My friend, let me bring you back to reality. The preservation of the Quran issue is over. It's the Titanic, okay? It's the Titanic and it's in the bottom of the sea. It's easier to take the Titanic out of the sea than to continue with this argument. It's over. Let it go.
The idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divinely intervenes every single time someone is writing a mushaf, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Guys, I cannot take it anymore. Hearing this guy talking, it's painful, okay? I feel literal pain. Okay, yes. You saved it. You saved it. Farid, you saved it at the last moment. You used your superpowers, your amazing intellect, and your amazing ability to read the hadiths, and you saved it. The Quran is preserved. The analogy is the Titanic, and Farid is going scuba diving. He put his mask and goes down to bring up the Titanic. Scuba diving. Farid, that is the analogy, my friend. I don't know how clever you think you are, but the Titanic won't go up with just your intellect. Look, Farid, he's going down to bring up the Titanic. Farid, good luck with that. You know the hadiths. That will help. Yes, go. The Titanic is waiting for you to bring it up. Ah, look. Ah, there is Mansour. Mansour is there. Mansour is the other guy that that waves him. Yes. You can do it. You can bring the Titanic up with your intellect. Okay, enough is enough.